John Sweeney's been contacting me for weeks now for a gotcha moment where he can interview me and throw all these accusations from God knows who at me. Well, that gotcha moment is now in my hands, because I'm now going to sit down and I'm going to put these to John Sweeney to see how he justifies any of this. So for 2 weeks now, I've been emailing John Sweeney. They've been trying to get me sit down for an interview. I emailed him yesterday and said the only day I can do is today, and I won't come to London, it has to be in my venue. I've organised this venue. I've told them that I'm having a free speech event later in the evening. So we've prepared this projector with all of our undercover footage to try and find out and ask John, what exactly were you planning? What exactly are you doing? So rather than them grilling me, which is how they're expecting it to be with his executive producers, when they sit down, we will play through each clip. I'm going to go to my children's assembly now. When I come back, it's action. I'm the... You all right? Very well. Just take this off. Because I am paranoid of fair and balanced reporting, I just wanted to clear a couple of things up with you while we're here. Is that all right before we start?
Okay, but you're recording, I think, aren't you? You're recording, and so aren't you?
That's fine.
Okay, okay.
That's
okay.
fine.
So we're not starting yet?
No, we don't have to start the interview. I just want to clear everything up. So, this is a Panorama documentary. You wouldn't be working with an organisation called Hope Not Hate on this documentary, would you? In order to find people to give negative opinions of me.
Making a Panorama documentary, the BBC makes all the editorial reports.
Okay, so it's a BBC, because it'd be quite strange for the BBC to be, how the BBC could be impartial on a documentary when Hope Not Hate are an organisation who are funded specifically to destroy me.
There are two separate entities.
Okay.
The BBC, I work for the BBC, this is the BBC Panorama production.
Okay, can I just quickly show you something here? So what this is Joe Moorhouse from Hope Not Hate, and what he says in this message is that Hope Not Hate are steering this documentary.
My name's John Sweeney,
okay.
and I'm a reporter for Panorama.
Okay, John.
So what this other guy says, he's not steering.
Okay, are you aware of any threats or blackmail that's been made to any of my ex-employees to give negative information about me to you? Are you aware?
No.
Can you just listen to this one?
We were basically threatened with the most horrendous shit you can possibly imagine for 3 months, constantly, to do this. Why they have dirt on us is when we left Rebel. I don't know if I told you this. When we left Rebel, we were really fucking angry, and none of the media would take all the stuff we had on them. So Nick Close reached out to me on Twitter, and he was like, "Oh, meet up with us." And we were like, "Oh, okay." Like, we weren't working with anyone then, so we were like, "Yeah, fuck it." And we met up with them twice, and we were like, we can write a book on Rebel Media, we can write a book on how they've scammed people, and this and this and this and this and this, and we were like really conniving with them. One of the first things they started threatening us with, this only started 3 months ago. We had no contact with them between 3 months ago and leaving Rebel, nothing. They started messaging us saying, "We need to meet you, this is really serious." And then when we met them, they said to George, I wasn't there, "We're going to release all of the meetings that you've had with us, threatening Rebel Media and talking shit about right-wing personalities and bitching about nothing serious, just saying, oh, they're cunts. And they're going to make you, and we're going to basically expose you." And also, we've got 6 signatures from the top trade unionist organisations in the country saying that they're going to come after you, and the government have opened a new department which we're advising on counter-terrorism, which are going to prosecute you for writing scripts which have incited the Darren Osborne terrorist attack. And it was like, they were basically like, you're going to fucking go to jail and you're going to get exposed for meeting with us if you don't work with us. This is what it all comes down to, this Panorama fucking thing. And Hope Not Hate were there, standing next to the BBC producers.
When you went for the meeting with Panorama, who from Hope Not Hate was there?
Nick, Joe, John Sweeney, and the producer. So, like, Hope Not Hate were, like, fucking terrifying, and they, like, did, you know, they blackmailed us, they felt like Joe fucking used the whole thing to try and get into Kaylin's pants. This is how bad it really was. When we pulled up in London, this was the day I dropped off the suitcase to you, right? that I went straight off from there, I can't remember where it was, to go and do this interview with them. They hired out this big car park warehouse thing. They had a little chair in the middle of it. I walked into this room, sat down. It was a cameraman, it was the head producer, it was Nick, and it was Joe. And then I started getting really nervous because she was saying, how much money, name numbers, name figures. And I was like, well, it was enough to pay for us to make videos, and all the money was spent on kit. And I was just saying vague shit. And then Joe said, can we stop the interview, please? And then I was like, okay. And then Nick went, can you come with us, Kaylin? And then Nick and Joe took me to the other side of the warehouse and said, Kaylin, you really need to give them more information than this. You really need to open up a little bit more because this is really not useful to them. They're probably not even going to use this. You need to go into specifics. You need to go into numbers. You need to at least show them something.
Were they threatening you?
Take a breather, have a cigarette, and we'll come back to it.
Were they threatening you then?
Okay. I had a cigarette and I went back and I sat down and I still couldn't really do it. And it was really bad. Like I was like shaking the whole time. That's when we told Panorama that we didn't feel that it was safe, that it was not okay, and that we were basically threatened.
Bit of a strange one here, yeah?
It's been a minute.
I know, sorry man, I know it's 4 o'clock in the morning here, but I've just got off the phone to Kaylin for an hour, yeah? How much have they told you about Hope Not Hate?
Not much. Why?
You're aware they've been meeting with them regularly?
I've met Joe too before. Yeah, I know that Kaylin and George have met with them before.
Continually met with them? When you was doing your Borderless documentary, Hope Not Hate flew out to Italy to meet them?
I don't know what they were talking about, but for the most part, I think they're just afraid of them. From what I've been told, it's they're oh, they're kind of blackmailing us, hang out with us, or else we're going to get you guys arrested or whatever. So they've just met with them.
So hold on a second. I work for Panorama.
Were Hope Not Hate present in that interview? Were Hope Not Hate present in an interview with Kaylin Robertson?
I work for Panorama, and we are doing a film about you.
Are you aware of that? Are you aware of
Joe?
Joe?
Look at me.
Yes.
I'm the reporter, and I'm asking you a question. Okay. Right. I get the point.
Are you aware?
Let
me ask you one question about that.
Okay.
Are you aware of indecent images sent by someone from Hope Not Hate to Kaylin Robertson?
I'm aware of the allegation.
You are aware.
I'm aware of an allegation, and I do not think it credible or serious. If I'm wrong, you can put that information out there.
If somebody has been blackmailed, threatened, intimidated by an organisation that is steering your documentary...
It's not serious.
Okay, can we hear the next one? Play the next bit.
Made really inappropriate, I don't know how to describe it, almost basically like a sexual assault situation towards me when I was really drunk, pretty much passed out.
Fuck you know, this gets messier and messier.
No, hold on, yeah, okay, and I got really upset and I broke down and I told George about it last week because it's really fucked me up, and George messaged Nick, and apparently nearly got suspended, and it's fucking, it's a really big mess.
He'll come to Milan to see you. Who'd he come with?
Nick.
He come with Nick, so Nick was with him.
Yeah.
And what did he do when you was drunk?
Nick wasn't there at that moment. Nick had gone home. So we were filming with Lauren, and then they said you've got to meet us. So we flew to Spain via Milan. Met them in Milan. Literally just had a coffee with them, where they basically just carried on threatening us, and said you've got to do Sky or one mainstream media thing. And then I went back to London to drop something off and to go then to Spain. So Kaylin was left in Milan for one night. Nick left that night as well, I think. Yeah, Nick left. And then this is when this thing happened. Kaylin said that he was basically really wasted, that he thinks let himself into Kaylin's room. And basically, Kaylin kind of woke up and was half naked, trying to do stuff with him, and then Kaylin said no, and was oh, you don't have to tell anyone, blah 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 blah. Kaylin's really fucked up about it. So this was 3 months ago, or 2 months ago, and Kaylin only told me about it last week. So I messaged Nick saying we need to talk. What the fuck is going on? And then Nick said that he's doing an investigation into it. George also messaged Panorama saying, guys, Hope Not Hate raped Kaylin. Hello?
Hi Joe, it's Tommy Robinson.